Hey guys, Tiny Bryson here, and today I want to talk about the 5 things that are most expensive in a lifetime that you will buy. And when people actually buy these things without budgeting for them, in reality, they spend their entire lives paying them back, aka our parents, aka co-workers that I won't mention, but there are people that do this stuff, and it's normal because no one tells you how to do it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to budget for all 5 of these things right here. Very expensive, but manageable if you know exactly what to do. Now, by the way, guys, if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. On the top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, let's get started, guys, and the first one is basically education. The most expensive thing that I know about to date to go ahead and earn you some more money, but in reality, all the money you earn basically goes straight into paying it back, okay? It's kind of weird, right? But I got very lucky because basically, I got a scholarship. I don't even know why, honestly, like I can't remember, but the answer is I got 2 scholarships and it only cost me around 11K to go to college and get a bachelor's degree in accounting. Awesome, right? But I also borrowed 10K to go ahead and start a business, which went very well. So in total, I owe around $21,000. Now that might sound like a lot of money, but some of my friends I met later after we graduated, some of them told me, Tommy, I actually graduated with 40K to $80,000 in student loan debt. And some of them even, guys, okay, didn't get the job they wanted to get and ended up working for minimum wage. And in reality, imagine having 80K in student loan debts, but only making $15 an hour here in New York. To me, that's a nightmare, and it happens all the time. So obviously, college is very expensive, but it's not the only option when it comes to going out there and earning more money. There's always trade jobs and licenses you can go out there and get certificates to go ahead and earn more money. For example, if you become a home inspector and do the entire thing, like less than a year or 2 years, in reality, that job can earn you between $50,000 to $55,000 and even more. So it's not like the only option when it comes to like, hey, college is the only way. But if you do want to do college, I do recommend one thing, okay? And that's basically just make sure to apply for every single scholarship out there, in campus and off campus, and also online. Apply for everything. Also have a job. That way you can pay for college, and that way you graduate with 0 debt. Now, imagine graduating with 0 debts but earning $60,000. In reality, you have a lot of income to then go out there and invest if you want to. And to me, that's called a win. So that's what I would do if I could go ahead and buy college all over again. Because by the way, I got a scholarship and a second one, but I wasn't really applying for all of them out there, okay? But if I did, I got 2 for 2, okay? I got one and the other one applying for 2. But imagine if I applied for all of them, I could have gotten a lot more money. And it could have been a lot more cheaper. So apply for everything, get a job, pay it off, graduate debt free, and go ahead and invest all that extra money. Now, number 2 is basically a car. A car is very expensive and you're probably going to own one in your lifetime. Now, if you know me, you know that basically I do not like cars. But if you really know me, you know that I do like cars. I just don't like the price of cars. That's why I say I don't like cars. Kind of like anything that's too expensive, I'm like, okay, I don't like it, but I do like it, but the price is just too crazy, okay? I'll just be honest with you. Plus, it loses value every single year. You guys know that. But the point is this, okay? When it comes to buying a car, I knew this guy, guys, okay? And this guy spent a total around $1,020 on a car every single month, including insurance and also car payments. Why? Because basically, he had a bad credit score and also had a bad history when it came to driving. I won't mention it for privacy reasons, but the answer is, you might say, Tommy, $1,200 is not that much money. But in reality, what if I told you his income was $2,000? Okay? $2,000. So in reality, he was spending more than half of his income just on a car. Tommy, how did he live? Well, he just happened to live in a building where he managed it and basically lived there rent free. But basically, all the money he made went to a car. I told him to sell the car, start over. I don't want to sell the car, but there you go. But the right way to go ahead. By the way, what would he do there? Would he sell the car, keep the car? Comment down below. Let me know. Please tell me you would sell the car, okay? Now, here's the correct way to actually go out there and buy a car. Now, unless you're a millionaire, and a new car is going to cost you less than 10% of your net worth, in reality, you have no business buying a brand new vehicle. So for most of us in this video right here, including myself, I'm not a millionaire just yet. Just give me a little longer. But the answer is, you probably are better off just buying a used vehicle between 3 to 5 years old, and that way you also get a 50% discount. I love discounts, okay? The answer is when you go ahead and you buy this vehicle, you can either pay cash for it, that way boom, you're done with it. But if you do finance it, just make sure it's no more than 15% of your take-home pay every single month, that we can manage it and not have to worry about it. But again, do not buy a new car unless you are a millionaire and it's going to cost you less than 10% of your take-home pay. Do not listen to Bob across the street that has a new vehicle but is struggling to pay his rent, okay? Just don't do it. Buy a used car. And by the way, if you're Bob and you ignore my advice here and said, hey, no, Tommy, I'm going to buy a new vehicle, well, in reality, I will be waiting 5 years to buy your vehicle at a 50% discount because you will lose a ton of money, and I will be waiting and I will buy your vehicle and ride it around for 5 to 10 years more and get a massive discount and massive value too, okay? By the way, guys, in reality, we all know this one thing, okay? Cars take you from point A to point B. You might look fancy, yes, but come on, you know? Do you really want to spend 30K on a car? Most likely not. Oh, and by the way, guys, before I forget, I'm going to link a video down below to when it comes to leasing a car and why that's also a bad idea. So video to that is linked down below. Do not lease a car. It's very expensive. Trust me, just watch the video. It explains everything, and it's also free. Now, the third thing you'll buy is a house. Now, houses are not cheap. They're very expensive. Now, most likely, if you're not investing or starting a family, renting is going to be better off, and it's also a lot cheaper than going out there and buying a house. So most likely, that's going to be the better option. Just rent until you're ready to actually start a family or settle down somewhere. But that's the entire idea here. But in reality, guys, according to the facts out there, the standards, the statistics, they say that the average price of a home in the US is around $200,000. But according to my statistics and my analytics here with my YouTube channel, most of you guys watching this video right here live in California, in Florida, Texas, Georgia, and also in New York. And in those states, houses don't cost $200,000, okay? Usually, they cost between $300,000 to $500,000. In reality, they are a lot more expensive. By the way, if you watch me in Alaska or any other state out there, I want to say thank you for all the support. I appreciate you guys a ton all around the world, okay? It's not just about Texas or New York or California. Cool states, but I appreciate every single one of you guys. Seriously, okay? Now, the truth is this. When it comes to buying a house, I recommend two things. The first thing is basically make sure you put down 20% for the down payment to avoid mortgage insurance, okay? How do you get so much money? In reality, you have to make savings goal and get there. And then once you get there, you buy the house knowing, hey, I put down 20%. It took me a while longer, but I'm not going to struggle that much. The second thing is basically just make sure the house is not going to cost you more than 30% of your income. That way, if you lose your job, you can at least handle it for a while momentarily and everything is fine. But if it costs you way too much money to manage a property, in reality, it's going to be a burden rather than a blessing. So just keep in mind the 33% rule. The mortgage cannot be higher than 33% of your take-home pay monthly. Keep that in mind. Oh, and this is optional, guys, but if you want to, you can go ahead and pay the house off a lot faster in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. And that way you kind of erase that expense every single month. And that way you free up a lot of income to basically go out there, invest more, have more fun, do whatever you want with that money. But that way the house is paid off and everything is fine. And by the way, I know someone is going to say, Tommy, why would I put down 20%? Why not just put down 0%? Okay, by the way, that's usually very unlikely, but in reality, there are people out there that basically get a loan for the 20% down payment or 10% down payment and basically go ahead and say, hey, here's the down payment money, get the mortgage, and boom, they put down 0% of their own money, but they're financed up to the neck, and maybe they can't even make the payments every so month. So just be very, very careful with that stuff. That's what I recommend. Just make a savings goal of 20% down payment, pay it, and then if you want to pay it off early, then go ahead and pay it off early and have all that extra money coming in for investing, vacations, having fun, buying a car if you want to, whatever you want to do. But that way, you don't struggle when it comes to like, hey, I own a house, but I'm out here struggling because I own a house, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, the fourth thing you're going to buy that's going to be very expensive, it's not something you buy, but something you actually make, and that's basically kids are expensive. You guys know that, right? But the truth is this, guys, okay? I know for a fact around 80% of you guys are between age 18 to age 44. So most likely some of you guys watching this video right here are most likely parents already. You already have some kids and you know exactly how expensive they actually are. Now I went out there and I read some articles, so you don't have to, on the facts, statistics out there, and the stats say that basically the average child from age 0 to 17 costs around $233,000, including housing, childcare, and also expenses. Now, whenever I hear this number right here, I don't get it, you know, because I have, for example, my mom, my grandmother, cousins, co-workers, people that I basically know, and none of them basically spent this much money on raising me, and definitely not raising like my family members either. Like this number right here, I think is like extreme, honestly, because basically, what are you spending $13,000 a year on a child? What is it, right? Like maybe the first year I get it, but the second and third, fourth year, like what are you spending so much money on? Usually it's the luxury of having, for example, childcare with like a yoga teacher. Oh my gosh, he has swimming classes in the childcare thing. He has a babysitter, like $50 an hour. In reality, when it comes to housing, like it's your kid, like why are you charging it housing? Like why are you putting that in the equation? On top of that, childcare, if one of you guys stay home, well, that's also free. Or if your grandparents are cool with it, well, that's also free. When it comes to expenses like diapers, food, formula, clothing, all that stuff, in reality, it should not cost you more than 3 to 5K every single year. And that's why I say 233K might be the average, but it doesn't have to be your average. Honestly, right? If you want the luxury of having like a kid in daycare and childcare, all this stuff, then maybe you can spend a lot more money, but I don't see the need for that, honestly. But in reality, the most expensive thing is most likely going to be college. And that's why I recommend you open up a 529 account, okay? Look it up and basically start investing for college for your kid, tax-free. And if you save, for example, $200 every single month and invest it, well, in 17 years or so, you'll have around $87,000, enough money for 3 kids to go to college, okay? And that's what I would do right there. But again, I comment down below, guys. I don't know if it's just me, but I grew up, right, so poor. In a way, I had a good lifestyle, right? But the idea was I grew up, you know, not the craziest, to the point where my grandmother and my mom sometimes bought me clothes that were bigger so I could fit into them. Okay, and I grew up just fine, all right? But the point is, no one ever spent nearly $200,000 to raise me or my sister or any of my people that I actually know, and a lot of my friends also. I just don't get where this number is coming from. Comment down below. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me. Now, number 5, and the final thing you're going to basically buy, well, not buy, you have to save for this, is basically retirement. Now, unless you don't plan on actually getting older, you will need to save for this. And guess what? It is very expensive, you know, because basically once you stop working, you need money to keep coming in, but you're not working anymore. Okay, so you need to save for it immediately today if you don't have any money whatsoever. And the good news is this, okay, if you are in your 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s, you still have time to save for retirement, because basically the work we do today is not like labor intensive. So even when you get older, your back is not broken. You can still go ahead and keep working. So that's the good thing. So let's say, for example, Tommy, how do I find out exactly how much money I need for retirement? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is multiply the amount of money you spend every single year on average on a good budget, okay? And then multiply it by 25. So for example, if I spend $30,000 every single year on a good budget, then in reality, I need to save around $750,000, and I got the number by multiplying it by 25 and following the 4% rule, meaning that every single year I'm going to withdraw 4% of my portfolio to then give me that money as income. By the way, the money has to be invested. It's not like in a savings account. It has to be invested. Now, here's the answer. Multiply by 0.04%, which is 4%, I get $30,000 every single year. So for example, let's say, Tommy, how do I find out my retirement amount? I just told you multiply by 25, but how do I find out how much I need to save every single month to get to this goal right here? The answer is, all you have to do is basically, say for example, you're 40 years old today and you have $0 in retirement, okay? The answer is, well, if you spend 30K, just multiply it by 25, that's your number right there. But if you want to find out how long it'll take you to save for this amount in maybe 25 years when you're 65 years old, just go on Google and type in savings goal calculator and it'll tell you exactly how much you need. Now the answer for this one right here is around $854 every single month for those 25 years to get to this amount right here of $750K and be able to retire on a $30K income with no problems whatsoever, just in passive income. But guys, that's about it for this video. But before I go, Tommy, how do I find out what to invest in? I recommend a target date fund called Vanguard and ask them about it and they'll tell you everything you need to know. And also tell them, hey, I also want to do the 4% rule. So what do you recommend? They'll tell you everything you need and you can ask them questions for like an hour or just comment down below and I'll help you out also, okay? But there you go. Guys, that's all I have for this video. Comment down below and let me know was this helpful. And also, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you like this video right here, well, like this video. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And if you want to talk to me or text me on my phone, subscribe to my Patreon, link down below, or just DM me on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And also, if you want to watch a video on basically how I budget my money every single time I get paid, here's a video right here. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.